Radnor Parks and Recreation staff gathered at the Willows on Friday, April 25th to add to the park's tree canopy in celebration of Arbor Day. Terran Landscapes donated and helped plant medium container trees at the Willows Park just off of the picnic area parking lot. Representatives from Radnor Conservancy and the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources also played a part.
Arbor Day was started in the 1870s by a guy named Sterling Morton, and we just decided in Nebraska wanted to plant a bunch of trees and put it out there, and they planted 1 million in a day, and over time it just started to become a national thing, and now it's a worldwide thing. So Arbor Day is always celebrated the last Friday in April, and it's worldwide. It's different in other places, like Brazil's like September 21st is when they, because they're in the southern hemisphere, so it's just like a really good day to, aside from Earth Day, to really just focus on trees in general and getting more trees in open spaces. And getting more trees where they're definitely needed. I read an interesting fact the other day that said there's 60 to 200 million open spaces along streets that could be filled with a tree. And just thinking about getting even a portion of those done would just be a huge benefit to society and helping people be happier and live healthier lives. So Arbor Day is a really important event, and thank you for having me here. And you guys are Tree City every year, so I appreciate it.
This is the 33rd year that Radnor has received national recognition from the Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree City USA. In order to become a Tree City, a township must meet 4 standards and have a tree board or department, a tree care ordinance, a comprehensive common forestry program, and an Arbor Day observance. There are more than 3,400 such cities across the United States.
I approve about 75 applications for the Southeast, which isn't a lot when you think about how many townships, but it's definitely needed and helpful, and it's nice to get the communities involved. And I do a lot of these programs, at least 20 to 30 a season, between all the help that I can get to do it. And the thing I like most about Radnor is you guys plant more than one tree. You're always planting a bunch of different trees in locations that definitely need it, versus just having a photo op with a bunch of kids. I'm fine with that too, that's great, get the kids involved in having that, but Radnor always takes it above and beyond, which is really great.
So right now we're in the middle of a lot of different park projects. We have some parks that are ailing, that have needed work, they haven't received work in the last 50 years, 60 years. And one of the number one objectives when we go into the parks is to not impact healthy trees. We recognize we can't always do that 100% of the time, although for some projects we have passed mandates where no matter what happens in those parks, 100% those trees won't be impacted. And that's a wonderful thing. So I think the mission is definitely critical. It's taken very seriously. In fact, I think Radnor probably could be a great role model for so many in the state. I think if you look really across all the Tree Cities USA, I think if you look at all the towns, I think really only 40% of towns are even a Tree City USA. Yeah, it's a very low percentage. Mm-hmm. So that's always kind of a really incredible statistic to me.
This planting was in addition to prior efforts in the month, including 30 large container trees planted by 25 members of Scout Troop 284 as part of an Eagle Scout project. In all, Radnor Parks and Recreation announced that nearly 130 trees were planted in April alone.
John McCaughey, who owns Terran and started it with his brother 40 years ago, he's always had this mission to protect the canopy of the main line and also, replenish it. These trees are getting older, they're falling, and not a lot of people are putting in the effort to put in another shade tree. They're taking them out and then they put in maybe a flowering tree. So this is step one of us getting involved with the township and the local community and putting in more of an effort with shade trees.
You guys add your 10 trees in, we'll be at about 80 trees that we just had added to this space, which had traditionally been mowed. People don't really see it, so we just had the great idea along with our shade tree committee members to make it a forest. So a lot of the trees that are being planted are going to provide a lot of coverage. You can see we abut another property over here at Ardrossan, which has agriculture. In fact, I didn't realize how open it was into the Ardrossan property. So now we're going to be creating screening and buffer, which is going to become great habitat for birds and, you know, all kinds of critters and things like that. We probably won't be here to see it, but you know, these trees will flourish at some point, and I'm sure they'll be amazing, and provide a really, you know, nice natural space back here, which is much needed.